Hey everybody, and thanks for watching 3dmotive.com. My name is Cordell Felix, and on this video I will show you how to use the Swift Loop tool. This tool will help you speed up the process of making a high poly model using subdivision modeling. Using the Swift Loop tool will help you put loops into your model to keep edge control, and I mainly use it for this reason. I will be using 3ds Max 2013 for this quick tip, and this video assumes that you have a basic knowledge of modeling in 3ds Max. For this example, I will be using my sci-fi beer cooler, and I will be using these two setups here to help explain how the Swift Loop tool works. First, we need to set up the hotkeys for the Swift Loop tool along with the loop tool and the ring tool. So go to customize and then customize user interface. And then once you get in this little box here, click on one of these and hit SW, and this will bring you to the nearest. So for Swift Loop, I have mine set to Control-Shift-X. You can have yours to whatever you want. This is just most comfortable for me. And assign. And then I'm also going to hit LOO, which is going to bring me to loop. And I have that set to Shift-V, and if you could assign that. And ring, which is RI. I'm going to hit RIN, which will bring me to ring. And mine is Shift-Space. And hit assign. Before I get into the first setup, I wanted to show how I used to add support loops and how I've seen other people add them. I used to select two edges like this, then I would hit connect. And depending on how smooth I wanted the edge to be, I would move it up there, and I'd do the same to the top. There's another way that you can select the corner and you can hit extrude, and the height has to be at 0, and you can change the width depending on the smoothness of your corner. So yeah, both those ways can be pretty time consuming, and the Swift Loop tool just gets rid of all that and you can do it really quick. Now let's start by going to my first setup here where I'm going to demonstrate how to use the Swift Loop tool. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Alt QQ to isolate this, and now let's begin. I have the Turbo Smooth modifier on here to demonstrate the smoothness of the edges, and I'm going to be changing that when I add the Swift Loops in, or the control edges. So I'm going to hide that for now and go onto the Edible Poly modifier, and I'm just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-X now so that I can activate the Swift Loop tool. So when you have the Swift Loop tool on, it's going to have that green line, and basically wherever you click, it's going to add that edge. So I'm going to be adding the edges to the corners like this to control the sharpness of it when the Turbo Smooth modifier is applied. So for this first one, I want to have kind of a larger corner, and for this one I want to be a tight corner. And this one is a bit more tricky, so I wanted to show that for this I guess it'll be some tight corners, so I'm going to add them all close. And you'll see that this middle one right here is always going to be the middle, so that's what these two edges are supporting. So I'm going to continue to add the edges, and I'll apply the Turbo Smooth when this is all done. And for this one, this edge is not completely straight. The Swift Loop will still follow it, but it will not be even throughout the entire edge. So when I try to add the edge close to this, it won't be even throughout the entire edge. So to fix this, there's a little trick with the Swift Loop, and when you click, and then if you hold Control Alt and left click drag, you can start to move that edge. And it corresponds to whichever edge you're closest to, so over here it'll be completely straight, and over here it will start to follow the edge completely even all the way through. So that's the results that I want to get for this. So again, if you click and add the edge there, hold Control Alt, then left click drag, you can start to move that edge. So now I'm going to go ahead and do it on this other side. And you just have to get close to the edge, and then it'll pop back to where you want it to go. It's kind of funky. I'm going to add an extra edge here. I forgot about this setup here that will help introduce another way to use the Swift Loop tool. There's a tool called Flow Connect, which is located right here, which helps complete the curve of an edge depending on the edges around it. You can activate the Flow Connect by holding Shift when you click to add the Swift Loop. This is a great way for adding more geometry to get the shape you want to a curve and add more detail into your high poly model later. The Flow Connect works by calculating the surrounding edges and finishing the curve off. So if I were to do the Swift Loop, which is Control Shift X, and then hold Shift, you'll see that that line that I had on there starts to project out a little bit. So if I hold Shift and then click, you'll see that it starts to complete that curve from this plane to this plane. So I can continue adding more geometry by holding Shift and clicking, and it'll make that curve more round. And for this one, it should go down, a down kind of curve like that. So I'll just hold Shift and click, and there you go. It completes that curve for you, and this is great for adding more geometry, for adding more detail into your high poly. So let's get back to this setup and check out these with the Turbo Smooth modifier turned back on. So this one should be a softer corner, this one should be a sharper corner, and I forgot to add the supporting edges here, and it should be rounder here and have a sharper bevel, and this one should just have sharp edges. So let's turn the Turbo Smooth modifier back on. And there we go. Looks pretty good. I'm going to hop onto our next setup now from where I pulled the lid off the high poly. So I'm going to isolate this out and start working on it. So I have the Turbo Smooth modifier here and these two symmetries because I'm not working on the full thing. So the symmetries complete the whole model, and I will be working on it with the end result turned on, which is this button right here. So I'm going to turn that on, and when I add Swift loops, it will be continuous. It will be all the way through since I have the symmetry turned on. I will be using the techniques I just demonstrated on this now. I already have an idea of which edges I want to be sharp and which edges I want to be soft. Most likely these bevels here are going to be sharp edged. This edge around the top is going to be soft, and the bottom of this should be sharper. You will see that in just a couple of minutes, the Swift Loop tool can help you finish something very quickly. I'm going to start on these bevels first, because I know that these are the things that have the tightest corners. So let's add the Swift Loop. And I'm going to add these edges extra close. And here's that one example of the uneven surface, or the uneven edges. So I'm going to use Control Alt and left click drag to move that edge there so it'll be even throughout the entire model. And this edge here will be a bit soft, so I'm going to add those two edges here. And I want to keep the angle of these two things, so I'm going to need to add the support edges about there. This one should be tight also. So we got an uneven thing here. So I'm gonna remove this edge. I'm gonna click it, hit Shift V to loop, and then hit Control Backspace to delete the whole edge. And I'm gonna add the edge back. There we go. This bottom part should be pretty sharp. I'm going to add an extra one up here to give it a bit more support. And there we go. So now when I apply the Turbo Smooth, I should get the desired edges that I want. Those are sharp, sharp, the angle's still there. Looks like that's a bit too round. So let's fix that. So that's what I missed. Use Control Alt left click, drag to make sure that line is completely straight. Let's turn this back on. And that looks pretty good. And this should just look just like my high poly. Yep, they look pretty identical. Okay. With enough practice, this will speed up your modeling and will help you get the desired edge control for high poly modeling. That's it for this quick tip. My name is Cordell Felix, and thanks again for watching 3dmotive.com.